Hey guys, so I haven't really done anything today, but I wanted to touch on some things. Um, I got King so that uh, I could play around with it a bit and do transfer manager things. So I want to go over some of the reasons I got the King for this particular session. One, I wanted to change our kingdom name. As you can see up here at the top, it says Egg Pick Pengu Core. And it's basically just a play on words. Our main four alliances are Egg, EPC, PEN, and KOR. And I'm like, oh, it's an Epic Penguin Corps, like kind of like an army or whatever. So I kind of made that our name just to be a little bit silly. I did want to go over a couple King features that people might not be aware of. This little page up here underneath of the profile, underneath of the state banner, which by the way, you can change the banner when you're King. And the kingdom name when you're king. The kingdom name you can kind of change freely. The banner you can only do once per kingship. But this little page icon, you can click it. And this is your king buff. You can use any of the, I guess, state bonuses as king. And you can freely change between them every 5 minutes. So that's pretty useful for when you're doing events and things of that nature. This king pack, you can claim it once while you're king. So you make sure you claim that if you become king. And you get these 2 skins for the entire reign of your kingship. Other than that, you come down here to grants, and you can actually grant 1 general commendation, 5 knights awards, and 30 soldier commendations to people. We have 4 top alliances, and there are 36 of these rewards in total. So I just split them up 9, 9, 9, and 9. And you can see through the list of grants who I gave all the stuff to. And then if you come over here to the king skills, you can see my authority up here is 12.1 million. This accrues daily based on how active your kingdom is. And you can 1 time a day, or I guess 3 times a day, but once every day claim 1,200 gems by using this skill 3 times. I have been using these gems to do world chat blasts to kind of get information out to the kingdom, but you're more than welcome to just kind of save them up and use them as you want. Community healing should be used immediately after becoming king after KVK, so your people can heal a little bit faster. And it should probably also be used like right after like the week where you're doing like Tri-Alliance and Sword Land together, or after like a castle battle or something like that, or right before a castle battle, so people can be healed up for it. Whichever way you want to do it, but it's most crucial to use it just right after KVK. These other ones, after KVK, there's usually 2 events. There's the Brawl, which is immediately after it, and then there's the Strongest Governor, which is after Brawl. After Strongest Governor is a castle battle, and you can get king again. And then after that castle battle, I believe it is alliance mobilization and I don't know I forget what else is after that. I'm a little brain foggy today, but there's other events. But anyway, the one after KVK is most important to use these buffs with, and then the king who has it for after castle battle will be controlling your. Oh yeah, that's right. It's the kingdom, the KVK stuff. Whoever's king after castle battle for that second week will need to control these pretty accurately for the buffs you want to do. Groundworks increases construction speed, fresh ideas, research speed, mobilize training for your governor's troops. What I'm doing is on Monday, I'm doing construction. Tuesday, I'm doing research. And Thursday, I'm doing troops. And this is pretty good for Brawl and Strongest Governor. But for KVK, you kind of want to talk to your kingdom about what they really want to do. In my kingdom, the general consensus is that on Monday we do construction, on Thursdays we do troops, and then on Fridays we do research, because during KVK on Fridays, you have access to both a governor speed up and a tech speed up kind of surprise pack for the whales. So they get all that extra speed up, and they're spending. If they're going to spend money on those speed up packages, they get a little bit of a bonus to their research build up as well. The only time this is probably different is if they want to, do like a tier 11 troop thing during KVK. In that case, you would do research on the Tuesdays and troops on a Thursday, so that they can get the tier 11 troop upgrade research done, and then just train the tier 11 troops after that. So really just talk to your state about what they want. Anyway, forced ceasefire, any governor that's in your state, if they're attacking people and you don't want them to attack people anymore, you can force them to stop hitting people for 1 hour. They won't be able to send any attacks for that hour, but they will still be able to get attacked. You can also force exile someone. This is, it's called forced exile, but it doesn't really exile someone. It kind of just removes them from the battle and gives them a shield for free. And it's better to be used on somebody who is getting attacked rather than somebody who's in need of an actual exile. So if you use that, you should probably use it on somebody that you really just want to protect rather than somebody you're trying to get rid of. The forced ceasefire would be trying to get rid of. And then the kingdom search down here, you can use this to search for anyone in your state that you're having a hard time finding. Maybe you want to give them a debuff. Maybe the state is kind of trying to gang up on them because they did something wrong. That's what you would use the kingdom search for. Anyway, so that's the king skills. And then over here in appointments, you've got ministers and all offenders. This guy down here in the indolence trial, he asked for the indolence trial. We typically don't use these because our state's pretty peaceful, so nobody really deserves to be an offender. And as for the other roles, aside from the Minister of Justice, who just kind of helps coordinate bumping up people for buffs when they want them during specific events, all of ours are usually open. And to open them, you come down here to the reservation list and you hit the little 3 dots at the bottom. And you can just click this on or off. It'll automatically approve everyone, and every 30 minutes, the next person just jumps up in the turn order. And so that's all the stuff about Kingship. The other reason I wanted to log in today and do a video is we got new heroes. And because we got new heroes now, the Season 3 heroes are now in the system here for obtainable through keys. And the Season 2 heroes now have gone to 5 times their drop rate and are matching Jabel and her drop rate. So Season 2 heroes now have a 5% chance of dropping. So every 100 keys, you're going to get 5 of them. And that's for like the whole hero, so that's 10 shards. As you can see, like you come down here, there's also a 2.5% chance. I'm sorry, this is a 0.5% chance. So for every 200 shards, you're guaranteed 1, where you're getting 10 of them. And for every 100 shards, you're guaranteed 2.5, where you're getting out of the 100 keys. So for every 200 keys, you're basically guaranteed to get 6 shards for the Season 3 heroes. And that's for these epic keys, not the advanced keys. And then these are the heroes we now have. Let's come down here to the heroes. And we have Vivian, Thrud, and Longfei. People have known about these heroes for a while because we are not like an early state, so we've kind of gotten a bit of a hint on who's good. And Longfei is probably the best option for anybody who wants to focus something. His joiner skill is a standard joiner skill for a infantry hero, just kind of reduces damage for somebody. But this is a percent-based chance skill, so 40% chance for 50% damage taken down. He is the first hero of pretty much any kind that has a 25% defense up skill, which makes him a very good hero to use in any kind of garrison or solo attack situation. The reason for this is defense is the lower stat, usually between defense and HP. So him boosting it gives you a better damage algorithm, especially when he's boosting it here instead of somewhere else. Like not his widget, but here. And then this skill down here is it's basically the same as Hildy's skill, where he's just giving you a 25% chance of doubling or doing 200% more damage to enemies. But I was most excited about this skill here, the defense up one. We've been using Saul a lot, and with him and Saul together, that means you can get a pretty significant increase in your defensive stat. Plus he's got like all of these, higher stats, like 444.35% when he's maxed out, compared to Alcar. who is 370. So he's a good 74% increase in both attack and defense for his units just by leveling them up. The other heroes, they're decent. Thread definitely makes a good joiner hero. They have a damage up and a damage taken down skill, and it's a total of 30% in stat movement instead of 25% like everybody else. So she's actually going to make one of the best joiners there is on both offense and defense, and is probably going to be like a meta hero for being a joiner now. So getting her to 4-star and getting this skill to 5-star to level 5 is probably going to be crucial for most people. Just because she's going to give like I said, an extra 5% in total bonus to stats, which is better than what most joiners can do. However, all these other skills that she has are not the greatest for a rally champion. This here, she has a 20% chance of dealing 100% damage to all enemies on attack. Now this seems bad on paper, but you got to realize she deals that much extra damage to all enemies on her attack with the cavalry, which means that if some of them ambushed, they're going to be doing extra damage to archers, and if they don't ambush, they're going to be doing extra damage to the infantry. But at the same time, it's 20% chance of dealing that damage, and these 20% chance skills, they're not typically great at rolling, and you don't get them to trigger very often. Also, Margot's skill is a lot better than Thread's in this regard, because she does a double attack rather than just double damage, which also includes all of the other bonuses to the cavalry stats. So it's just a little bit worse than Margot's skill. And then you got this one here, which is a 50% total increase in damage up and damage taken down, so it's 25 to each one of them. But it's for every 4 attacks made by cavalry. Now, if this was a skill on Margot, that would be great because there would be a chance of it happening every 2 turns. But as this stands, it's every 4 turns, so that's basically a 25% chance of this happening. A 25% chance of 50% movement in stats is way worse than a 20% chance and a 100% chance movement in stats. So these, both of these skills combined are just kind of subpar for what the current cavalry can do. But she's definitely got the best joiner skill that anybody's had so far. So if you're looking for a good PvP hero, this is not for you. But if you're looking for a good joiner for pretty much most things, she's great. She's not going to be great in Bear Pit because she's only a 15% damage up. But this damage taken down is for you. Like it reduces your damage taken, and Bear don't do damage. So in Bear Pit, she's a Hildy, which means she's a good like tier B joiner, because she does increase your damage, but she's not 25% bonus like everybody else you can use. Now, like I said, I've already kind of went over long phase stuff, so we don't really need to talk about him more, but what I wanted to do was go over these arena skills. So when he has a 100% gain in attack speed and immunity control effects for 4 seconds. That means he's good as one of those like backline infantry. Some people do like this arena formation where they put an infantry in the front and an infantry in the back. He'd be better as like an infantry in the back type situation. He's going to attack really quickly. He's going to do a lot of damage. And if the enemy uses any kind of like AoE control spell, he can kind of just shrug it off and keep going. So this is his damage taken down. So he will survive longer when his health goes down. Zoe has a similar skill. When she reduces her HP to 50%, she heals and then kind of comes back into the battle a bit. He just reduces his damage taken by 60% when he's almost dead. I particularly don't like skills like this because you'll find in the arena more often than not, a hero will go from 30 to 50% health to 0 health with 1 skill usage. So having it at 20% chance. Oh no, this is 20% reduction when under 60%. My bad. So that's not as horrible, but I think somebody like Zoe's skill is a lot better than this one. Just because it doesn't offer a lot. A 20% reduction in damage is not going to do a whole lot when you're a frontline attacker, because you're just going to take damage from everything. Now, he would work really well with like Alcar and people who do healing, because once this triggers, it's going to reduce his damage and let him survive long enough to maybe get one of those heals. But it's not like one of the greatest skills you have for an infantry unit in the arena. And then this is another one where he gains 48% attack when under half health. So he's already increasing his attack speed with this one for 4 seconds. So every 4 seconds that he's under 50% health, he's getting 48% and 120%. So he's getting an extremely fast attack speed, which is great for people that have more defense than attack in their stat. So he's not really a great arena hero, but he is one of the better PvP heroes. Now Thread, in arena, she's actually not that bad at all. This Primal Howl, it has no upper limit, so she lets out a howl and increases all its squad's attack by up to 5%. Every time she does this howl, it increases the attack of all squads by 5%. So not just her squad, but let's say Rosa's squad. And if you aren't familiar with what Rosa does in the arena, let me go to her real quick. Every time she uses this skill, she increases her attack speed by 7% for 5 seconds. Every time she uses this skill, she reduces the attack speed and healing effects of enemy squads permanently by this much. So when you're using somebody like Thrud with somebody like Rosa in the arena, you're giving them a lot of attack speed bonuses. And you're essentially reducing the enemy's attack speed as well. And what you're going to notice with doing this in battle is that you like say towards the end of the battle and it's already gone on for like 30 or 40 seconds, you're going to be attacking incredibly quickly, and the enemy's going to seem like they're just like frozen in place almost. And when it says all squads, it's talking about the escorts as well. It's not just the heroes, but all of the troops that come with them. So this is a pretty significant buff to things as long as you can keep Thread alive. She has a stun. Anytime somebody has a stun, it's usually a good thing. However, with the release of Season 4, Margot gives everybody immunity to things, and Alcar gives everybody immunity to things. So crowd control effects haven't been as effective in the current season. So this is kind of it really depends on how often she's able to get this off in between their particular skill activations as well. I don't have her yet. I haven't really obtained any Thread shards yet, but I plan on testing that in the arena to see how her timing affects or works with other people's timings that kind of would counter effects like that. Because if you remember, like in Season 1, Jabel was insanely powerful in the arena because she would just do that AoE stun for everyone, and this is an AoE stun as well. So, and then she just does more area of effect damage. So in arena, she's a good DPSer, and she does have a little bit of a stun. So as long as that stun can hit in between other things, she makes a decent arena hero. Now Vivian, I don't really like Vivian this season. She has a couple of problems. So enemy damage taken increases by 25%. She works as a joiner for Bear Pit. Increases the damage the bear is going to take by 25%. That's great. It's a standard Bear Pit joiner. So we're basically getting 2 joiners this season for Bear Pit, and that's Vivian and Thread. Thread being, of course, the better overall joiner, but the worse Bear Pit joiner. So Vivian will be your Bear Pit joiner for the season. And then this is where you kind of get the little tricky parts of her ability. Some people kind of get confused about how these things are worded. But she grants all squads up to 100% extra damage after every 4 attacks. And causes the target to receive up to 15% extra damage for its next attack received. So this is a killer for anti-infantry stuff. But what does it mean by every 4 attacks? Well, she says all squads do this. And what that means is, like, say in one round you have your infantry attack, you have your cavalry attack, you have your archers attack, and then say either your cavalry or you're using Margot, say either your Margot or your archer get a double attack. That triggers that fourth attack bonus. The problem with this is that in Bear Pit, in between rounds, it removes any debuffs and stuff like that from itself and prevents you from being able to use any other kind of, round-based buffs as well. So receiving an extra 5% or up to 15% damage for the next attack received, and an extra 100% damage on that next attack that's coming in. Well, the two downsides are that, one, it's going to be an infantry attack that's coming in with an extra 100% damage, which is not great. And two, we don't know if that 15% bonus to the enemy's attack received is going to be in effect, because the Bear Pit does take every round and remove any debuffs. So if this is a buff on your troops, it will work. But if it's a debuff on the enemy, as soon as that round clears and it goes to the next round, it gets removed. So I don't really trust that she's good in Bear Pit with this skill, but it is worth testing. It's one of those things where if you are going to test it, you're going to need a lot of data points, and it's something that we are working on in some of my testing groups. But we just have a lot of questions about this and how it works because of how Bear Pit is coded. And then this is also one that's based on number of attacks, which is also something that makes it kind of difficult with her. But it's only affecting her archers, and they deal an extra 60% damage to all enemies on the next attack every 4 attacks. And again, they have a chance to double attack. So, I mean, it could happen every 3rd turn, but most likely it's going to happen, once every 5 turns or so. Which makes it a lot worse than, Rosa, who does a 30% flat increase to archer damage. And also has, a pretty reliable 50% skill. So I think when it comes to Vivian for Bear Pit, she's mostly going to be useful as a joiner. And even in regular combat with these skills, like I was saying with this one here, there's a very real possibility, because she is she's not a rally widget, she's a garrison widget. So it's a very real possibility she's going to be paired with Margot, who has double attack with cavalry. And as long as the cavalry or the archer double attack in a single turn, this skill is going to trigger on infantry. And infantry don't do any damage, so that it's just kind of awkward the way that this skill is, just with how the current season is and everything like that. And I won't say she's a bad hero. I'll just say she's like a situational hero, and the situations that she's useful in are not going to come up very often, and you're going to have a lot of random luck-based things happening that make her either extremely horrible in that fight or extremely good in that fight. So, I mean, there's a chance that she's going to help you win a fight, but there's also a chance she's going to make you drastically lose the fight. So I would say upgrade her based on your preferences, and don't really focus too much on her. Just because of the every 4 turns thing. If it was every 3 turns, I would like it a lot more. Just because the first time either her or Margot activate their ability, it changes where everything's going to happen. But otherwise, it's just too random and too unpredictable. Just because she's going to be paired with Margot. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about with her. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to message me at some point in time. But that is all the stuff I wanted to talk about for this video. Again, if you feel like you learned something, feel free to like and subscribe.